All right, folks. Get ready to dive into something seriously wild in Diablo 4.
Wild is right.
Because we're talking about Season 7 witchcraft and...
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Wait for it.
The good stuff.
Weaponized frogs?
I know, right? Frogs.
Yes, you heard that right. Frogs.
You don't typically associate Diablo with, cutesy amphibians.
No, you really don't.
But that's what makes this update so fascinating.
It definitely has our attention.
Seems like Blizzard is really intentionally, shaking things up here.
They definitely got our attention.
Yeah.
We've got a recent PC Gamer article and some juicy details from a Blizzard live stream recap to unpack.
Lots to talk about.
So let's break down what this all means for, for you as a player.
Yeah, for you, the listener.
So first things first.
Well, the first thing to understand is that this isn't just a cosmetic change.
Right.
These frogs are set to explode onto the scene.
Literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
And potentially shift the entire meta.
Wow.
Imagine facing a necromancer, but instead of skeletons, they're commanding a horde of exploding amphibians.
Talk about a change of pace.
From bone-shelling to riveting.
Yeah.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But, okay, so where do these explosive amphibians come from?
Right.
How do you, the player, get your hands on such a unique force?
So it all ties into a new enemy type called the Head Rotten.
Okay.
Which are invading Sanctuary, basically.
Right, Sanctuary's in trouble again.
Sanctuary's always in trouble.
And it's true.
But you'll need to defeat these Head Rotten to unlock the new witchcraft spells.
Okay.
Including, of course, the infamous exploding frogs.
Of course, that's the one everybody wants.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
This is all part of the existing Grim Favor system, which are essentially bounties you complete for rewards.
Right, yeah.
But in Season 7, those bounties are getting a pretty major revamp.
So it's building on a familiar system, but adding like a whole new layer of strategy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, dare I say fun?
Absolutely, yeah.
But hold on, it's not all about frog explosions, right?
It's all about the frogs.
Yeah. There are other spells coming in Season 7 that sound equally intriguing.
Absolutely. For instance, there's an eldritch orb that circles around you, setting enemies ablaze as it goes.
So like a constantly orbiting ring of fire.
Right, providing both offense and a bit of protection.
Ooh, that sounds like it could be incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Especially for builds that rely on staying in close combat.
Yeah, close combat for sure.
Do you think this Eldritch Orb could become like a must-have defensive spell for certain classes?
It's hard to say for sure without seeing it in action.
Yeah, true.
But, I mean, it definitely has the potential to be, a game changer.
Yeah.
What's particularly interesting is that these spells gain bonus effects at max level.
Okay.
Adding another layer of strategic depth.
So it's not just about unlocking the spell, it's about, like, maximizing its potential.
Yeah, you got to level it up.
I like that.
For example, that orb might get a damage boost.
Right.
Or even start moving faster.
Oh, okay. So there's a reason to, like, really focus on it.
Exactly.
And speaking of maximizing potential, you mentioned something about tags and synergies for these spells.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, lay it on me.
These spells will have tags and synergies.
Okay.
Similar to character skills, meaning that you can't just spam them randomly.
Oh, so you can't just go crazy with them.
No, there's strategy involved.
Oh, I see.
You'll need to think strategically about combinations.
Okay.
Just like you do with your character's abilities.
So there's like a thought process.
Yes.
There's like a build.
It's almost like you're building like a mini skill tree within your spell book.
Wow. That adds a whole new dimension to spell casting.
Oh, yeah.
And it opens up a lot of possibilities for like creative builds.
Definitely for those players who, want to experiment.
The theory crafters are going to have a field day.
Oh, yeah.
So we've seen how these new spells can pack a punch.
Mm-hmm.
But where do you get them? That's where the revamped Grim Favor system comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we get them.
To obtain these powerful spells, you'll need to face off against the Head Rotten.
Okay.
And they'll be concentrated in specific regions.
Okay.
Turning those areas into prime hunting grounds for players seeking those, sweet spells.
So they're basically turning those regions into, like, spell hotspots.
Basically.
I can already imagine players, like, flocking to those areas.
Oh, yeah.
Eager to be the first to unlock the most powerful spells.
Absolutely.
It's going to be competition.
Yeah, it's going to be like a race.
Oh, yeah.
And to accommodate this increased activity, Blizzard is expanding the settlement at the base of the Tree of Whispers,
Oh, okay.
which has been a long-standing request from the community.
Oh, so they listened.
Yeah, they listen.
The Tree of Whispers, for those who might be new to Diablo 4, is where you turn in those grim favors and receive your rewards.
Yes.
That's a nice quality of life improvement.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's something else you mentioned that really caught my attention. Blizzard is using this season as a testing ground for the future of grim favors.
They've explicitly said that this is an experiment.
What do you think they're hoping to learn from this?
Well, it seems they're really interested in seeing how players engage with this more directed approach to open world content.
So they're watching.
They're watching, they're gathering data.
Interesting.
Do players enjoy being guided towards specific regions, or do they prefer more freedom and exploration?
Yeah, that's a good question.
They want to know.
So they're essentially using Season 7 as a way to, gather data and feedback
Exactly.
on this revamped system.
Mm-hmm.
It shows that they're really committed to listening to the community.
It does. They seem very committed to that.
And, refining the game based on player input.
Yeah, that's good to see.
And if you're, the listener are eager to try out these witchcraft spells yourself and see how this revamped Grim Favor system works,
Yeah, get your hands dirty.
you're in luck.
A public test realm will be available from December 3rd to 10th on battle.net,
Nice.
giving you a chance to experience some of these features before the official season launch.
So it's like a sneak peek behind the curtain of Season 7.
Yeah, a little taste.
Now, we've talked a lot about frogs and spells,
A lot of frogs.
but Season 7 isn't just about amphibian armies.
No, there's more.
There are other noteworthy changes coming, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Season 7 brings a whole slew of changes. Some subtle, some quite significant.
Oh, okay, like what?
For example, remember those spirit-born enemies
Oh, yeah.
that have been giving players a real run for their money?
Those guys are tough.
Yeah,
I've definitely had my fair share of frustrating encounters with them.
I hear you.
What's happening with them in Season 7?
Well, it seems Blizzard has been paying attention to player feedback,
Cool, good.
and those spirit-born enemies are getting some much-needed nerfs.
Oh, thank goodness.
They'll still pose a challenge, of course,
I hope so.
but hopefully they'll be a bit more manageable now.
That's good to hear. It's great to see that Blizzard is responsive to, the community's concerns and willing to make adjustments
Yeah, they're definitely listening.
based on, player experiences.
It seems like it.
Speaking of adjustments, you mentioned something about build-defining unique items.
I did.
What exactly does that mean?
So this is another area where Season 7 is shaking things up.
Okay, tell me more.
These unique items are designed to be exceptionally powerful
Ooh.
and have specific effects that can completely transform your build.
So it's not just about finding the best gear in terms of raw stats anymore.
No, not at all.
You'll need to think about how these unique items synergize with, your skills and spells
Yeah,
to create a truly unique and powerful build.
precisely. It's about creating synergies and finding those perfect combinations that can turn your character into an unstoppable force.
It sounds amazing.
This could have a major impact on the meta as, players discover new and innovative ways to utilize these unique items.
Oh yeah, the theory crafters are going to be busy.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to have a field day with this.
I can't wait to see what kind of crazy builds people come up with.
Me too. It's going to be interesting.
And on that note, there's another big change coming in Season 7
Uh-huh.
that I know a lot of players have been eagerly awaiting.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
The armory system.
The armory, finally.
Yes. This is a quality of life improvement
It is.
that many players, myself included,
Yeah, I've been wanting this
have been requesting for a long time.
a long time coming.
It will allow you to quickly swap between different gear sets and builds right in town
Yeah,
without having to manually go through your inventory and swap out every single item.
that's right. No more inventory Tetris.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be so much easier.
More like a quality of sanity improvement, am I right?
Oh, absolutely.
Remember the frustration of having to manually swap out every piece of gear when you wanted to switch from, say,
Yeah, don't remind me.
a dungeon clearing build to a boss killing build?
He was a nightmare.
The armory completely eliminates that hassle.
It does. It's a game changer.
It streamlines the whole process and lets you focus on what really matters.
Exactly.
Slaying demons and collecting loot.
The important stuff.
Exactly. So, to recap, we've got exploding frogs,
Always got to come back to the frogs.
fiery orbs, spirit-born nerfs, build-defining unique items, and a brand new armory system.
It's a packed season.
Season 7 is shaping up to be a pretty massive update,
It really is.
but amidst all these exciting changes, there's something else we need to consider,
Right.
something that goes beyond the immediate impact of these new features.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
You're referring to the long-term implications of these changes,
Yeah, yeah.
particularly the Grim Favors revamp.
Right, the big experiment.
Exactly. We've talked about how Blizzard is using this season as a testing ground for the future of Grim Favors.
They are.
But what does that really mean for, the overall direction of Diablo 4?
Well, it's a pivotal moment, that's for sure.
It is. It is.
The success of these new features, especially the way players respond to the revamped Grim Favors,
Yeah,
could significantly shape the future of Diablo 4.
that's true.
If players embrace this more directed approach to open-world content, it could signal a shift towards a more dynamic and evolving world
Okay.
in future seasons and expansions.
So we're potentially looking at a major evolution in how players interact with the world of Sanctuary.
I think so.
It's almost like Blizzard is using Season 7 as a springboard
Mm-hmm.
for even bigger and bolder ideas down the line.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's a testament to their willingness to experiment, to listen to player feedback,
Yeah.
and to continuously iterate on, the core gameplay loop.
It's this kind of adaptability that keeps games like Diablo 4 fresh and exciting,
Right.
even years after release.
Now, circling back to those exploding frogs for a moment,
Of course.
they're not just a fun new addition, right?
They're not just for laugh.
They actually represent a broader shift in how Blizzard is approaching enemy design and spell mechanics in Diablo 4.
That's an interesting point.
What do you think is driving this shift?
That's a good question.
And what does it mean for the future of the game?
Well, traditionally, Diablo has always been about fighting hordes of demons, skeletons, and other creatures pulled straight from the darkest corners of your nightmares.
Yeah, classic Diablo.
Right. But with the introduction of the Head Rotten and these witchcraft spells, Blizzard seems to be exploring a slightly different direction.
It's like they're adding a touch of whimsy to the darkness, a dash of humor to the grimness.
Exactly. These exploding frogs, those fiery bats, that monster-sucking cyclone,
Yeah.
they all have a certain playful energy that you don't typically associate with the Diablo universe.
Yeah, it's different.
And I think that's a good thing.
I think so too.
It keeps things fresh and surprising.
Yeah.
It shows that even a franchise as established as Diablo can evolve and adapt, embracing new ideas and exploring uncharted territory.
And it's not just about the visuals or the mechanics.
Yeah.
It's about the storytelling too. These unexpected additions create a sense of wonder and intrigue.
They do.
They make you question the nature of Sanctuary and the forces at play.
That's a good point. Speaking of questioning and wondering, let's step back for a second.
Okay.
Consider the bigger picture.
You're right.
We've seen these exploding frogs. We've heard about these otherworldly spells.
We have.
But what does it all mean for the future of creature design in Diablo 4?
That's a great question.
What other unexpected creatures might Blizzard introduce down the line? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If we consider the direction they seem to be heading with this blend of whimsy and power, we could be in for some truly unique additions to the summoning repertoire.
Right. I mean, we've already got skeletal warriors, golems, and revivified corpses. Now we're getting exploding frogs. Where do we go from here? Giant armored spiders, swarms of venomous butterflies. The possibilities are endless.
And that's what's so exciting about this shift. It opens up a whole new realm of possibilities for creature design in Diablo 4. Just imagine the kind of nightmarish, yet somehow endearing creatures they could introduce.
I'm already picturing a giant fluffy bunny rabbit that shoots lasers from its eyes. Or maybe a swarm of adorable but deadly kittens with razor-sharp claws. The contrast between the cute and the terrifying is just too good to pass up.
I think you're onto something there. That juxtaposition of the cute and the creepy is a classic horror trope and can work incredibly well in the Diablo universe. Imagine encountering a pack of seemingly harmless teddy bears only to have them transform into ferocious fang-toothed monsters.
Oh, that's giving me chills. But it's not just about shock value, right? These creatures need to be more than just window dressing. They need to have a purpose, a role to play in the gameplay.
Absolutely. Whatever creatures they introduce need to be both thematically appropriate and mechanically interesting. They need to fit within the lore and atmosphere of Diablo while also offering players new and exciting ways to interact with the world.
So, for example, those exploding frogs aren't just there for comedic effect. They actually serve a strategic purpose as a powerful area of effect attack.
Precisely. And that's what I'm most curious to see as we move forward. How will these new creatures enhance the gameplay experience? Will they introduce new combat mechanics? Will they change the way we approach exploration and dungeon crawling?
It's like Blizzard is inviting us to step into a twisted carnival funhouse where the familiar rules of horror have been turned upside down.
And that, I believe, is the key to Diablo 4's continued success. The ability to surprise us, to keep us guessing, to challenge our expectations.
So as we eagerly await the arrival of Season 7 and the reign of the exploding frogs, let's take a moment to appreciate the creativity and the boldness of this design choice. It's not just about adding new creatures to the game, it's about expanding the boundaries of what's possible within the Diablo universe.
And it's a reminder that even in a world of darkness and despair, there's always room for a bit of fun, a touch of the unexpected.
And on that note, we want to hear from you, the listener. What crazy, amazing, or downright bizarre creatures would you like to summon in Diablo 4? Head over to our social media channels and let us know. We can't wait to see what you come up with.
Until then, happy hunting and may your frogs always explode on target.